Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice. Welcome everyone to Angel Heart Radio. You are our focus. We want you to know that you matter in the world and that you're important to the world. We're here to remind you of just how valuable and needed you are right now. Help us to help others. If you like what you hear, tell your friends, post, tweet, pin, let everyone know how amazing Angel Heart Radio is. So again, welcome to Angel Heart Radio. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is sponsored by AngelLight777.com. And we are powered by love. And don't you just love that? I'm so excited about that. And do you know that phrase, I actually didn't make that up. It just turned up one day on my website. I don't know how it happened. Well, I do. The angels put it there. So I knew this was a very beautiful thing to always remember that we are powered by love, and so are you. I want to welcome my absolutely divine guest, Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. Her website, so you can check it out as we're going through the show, is Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Martin, thehearthealer.com. Welcome, Marcia.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you for all that you're doing for this community of angel lovers, Anaya. Really, really wonderful. Thank you so much.
And haven't we just had the most wonderful time? And a big shout out to Sherry Myers from How to Connect with Angels. Please do look them up on Facebook, theglitchmovie.com. Sherry put us together, and I want to say, Sherry, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, it's been a real heart connection. So hallelujah. Thank you, angels, and Sherry, who is an angel, for making this possible.
And we did. We really connected so quickly, didn't we?
Yes, it's been a blast.
I just love it. And when something happens like this and there's an instant flow and an instant resonance and an instant feeling of this is absolutely right, that feeling is really brilliant, isn't it? It's something very special and something to be treasured, I feel, and followed.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Now, Marcia, I absolutely love today's topic, and it's so important to me because, as I shared with you, both of my parents transitioned very suddenly and very close together, and honestly, I felt like my whole world disintegrated and the rug was pulled out from under my feet, even though I knew they weren't dead, even though I knew that they were okay, they were living their life, they were happy and well and taken care of. I still felt like they were dead. I still felt like my parents were dead. It was a terrible feeling, and it still is some days.
And I think it's so, so important for us to understand that is a very real sensation for those of us who are left in the physical body. So we've got to stop focusing on the person who has transitioned as though something has happened to them. They're fine. And we know that not only from people like myself who receive messages from the angels, but also from people who had near-death experiences who went to the energetic, to heaven, whatever you would prefer to call it, and then came back to report to us what has happened or what it's like there. So why don't we take our focus off of what is happening to the individual who is transitioning and put it back on how can we best support those who are left behind? Because anyone who has made their transition has done so in the presence of angels and by design, by choice. There are no accidental deaths. You can't just 1 minute be here and the next minute, oh, what a surprise, I'm in heaven. You have to call for your transition. Every single person has to call to God to be transitioned. So let's put our effort and our attention and our focus on helping those who are left behind cope with the physical loss of the person. Because even though we can communicate with them energetically, it's still very difficult not to have that warm body next to you, that person that can give you a hug or who can reply verbally. And let's see how we can help the survivor through the process, through the pain, not of Mary has decided to move on, but now I don't have Mary's company, and it's quite difficult for me not to be able to reach out and hold her hand. That's where the real pain is.
It's so true.
I think there's also
it's very
pain.
true.
Well, you had an interesting thing where, it was so sudden. You didn't get that opportunity to perhaps say the goodbyes that you wanted to or get prepared emotionally. And so let's look at why they may have chosen to go quickly. Well, I have found through my work through Jesus with this that people will decide, I've really done everything I want to do. I'm really ready. And I don't know that they actually form the thought coherently in their mind, so that if they did, perhaps they would spend more time preparing the people they're going to leave instead of just saying, you know what, I'm ready to go. I don't know that it is quite that coherent a thought. I think it's more a vague yearning. I'm done here. I've done everything that I want to do, and now I'm kind of just ready to try something new. So let's not be angry at those who choose to make a quick transition, but let's honor those who have chosen to stay behind and make this world better for each one of us. And
that's beautiful. That's really beautiful, because I think that's something that is so precious to the person who is grieving. For myself, I gave myself such a hard time, Marcia, for so long, because I felt guilty and I felt wrong, because I understood, I knew they were okay, and yet I felt so bereft, and so I kept feeling like I shouldn't be feeling like that. So what you've just said is so powerful for me, because it's really important, isn't it, to honour where we're really at.
And I guess my question to you would be, why not? Why shouldn't you feel bereft? Why shouldn't you feel like the carpet got ripped out from under you? This happened for them. It may have been planned for years in the subconscious. If they were not really in touch with their subconscious mind, they would not realize how much energy they had been putting toward, we're really done. I'm done here. I'm really tired of this. Time for me to move on.
Yeah, and in fact, my mum said to me just days before she left, she actually said to me, I just don't want to go on anymore. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't sudden when I look back, was it? She was really telling me to be prepared, that she was already withdrawing.
And that's something that is so important. And here, I used to believe, okay, God, it's a rigged deal. I don't get it. It doesn't feel very loving to me. And if you're such a big love guru, what the heck? Why are these things happening? And so through my work in the heart, he's begun leading me to understand we do have the answers. We actually have all of the answers, but we block them through the heart. Now, let me back up a minute and explain. The heart rules the subconscious. The subconscious is in touch with God. It's planning our next move. We can be in touch with the subconscious, and nothing needs to be hidden from us, but If we have not done the work to clear and heal the heart, we will get conflicting messages. So in your case, you may have had heart blocks, which we all begin with. You may have had heart blocks to the idea that your mother was saying, I am so done with being here. I really can't fight anymore. This is not what I wanted, or I've done everything I've wanted. It's not fun anymore, and my greatest wish would just be to return to the energetic and have some peace. Now, if your heart is blocked from hearing that information because it feels painful to you, you are not going to process it, even though your subconscious mind is saying, get ready, she wants to go, hear her. That you've got a protective block on the way that says, that is too painful, I can't go there. So we need to learn to be open and clear the heart, knowing that the most loving thing that we can really do for ourselves is to be in truth at all times. It's not always comfortable. Sometimes it's not what we want to hear. But as long as we just hang on tight to the angels, the hands of the angels, to God, especially to Mother God in times like this, open up and cry out from the heart, this is hurting me, please help. They will make it so much easier.
That's so true.
And it's not that they're necessarily going to change the outcome. Your mother had free will, and her free will trumps your desire for her to stay. So, we're always our own final word. So, if you're on your knees, God, please make my mother stay, and she's saying, God, take me now, I am so tired of being here, you don't get to force her to stay. That's
really right. And the other thing to remember too is, isn't it, that when we are looking at somebody else's choice, whether it's a choice they're aware of or not to be here or to go, that we ourselves are going to make, we've already made that choice, and I guess it's just a matter of when that comes about for us. And so learning and understanding that it's, I was, reading the information you sent me, which is absolutely wonderful and will be available on our Facebook page later. And, of course, it's on your Facebook page, which we'll talk about in a second, to help people understand that it really is like stepping out of one set of clothing that no longer fit, that no longer work, that no longer are of any value or useful, and into another set, which now fits so much better, which now are very valuable. When we start to see it as a simpler process, I feel that is much more integrative, easier to integrate. And really, where I'd like to go now is, how did you come about? How did you find out this information? How did Jesus and Azrael and Gabriel contact you, or did you contact them? But right before we do that, we've got a caller on the line. If you would like to speak to us, please press 1 and we'll come to you as we can. So, Marcia, how did this happen for you, and when did it happen?
Well, this was in response to a woman that I am working with right now who has a family member who is in the process of transitioning. And this is one of the most fascinating transition processes I've ever observed. Just for confidentiality, I'm not going to share any details, but she is acting, the woman who is transitioning is acting as an angelic conduit. And this is something that we need to understand. When the physical body begins declining because someone has chosen to allow that to happen, please don't assume that the spirit is incurring any physical damage or is in any pain. The spirit cannot be hurt or harmed. And when you are close to the time when you no longer want to be in the physical body, you can go back and forth with ease. It's you're pretty fluid at that point. You just kind of have like a thinner cord that keeps you. So if the pain in the physical body appears to be overwhelming, I guarantee you that the spirit has left, because the physical body is no longer valuable or can no longer be restored to the point where it's easy to occupy. So the spirit is in and out during that time, but they may be using that physical body to bring unconditionally loving energy onto the planet. What's really fascinating to me is our partnership with God. God, who is everything and everywhere and can do anything and everything, chose to give us the role of partner and declared, well, I am going to create a world where I need to work through you. You're my partner, so I'm going to partner with you, and loving energy will come through you in your human vessel form. And then he sent us various messengers such as Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and Saint Germain, and on and on and on. He has sent us these messengers of incredible light to bring even more of this loving energy onto the planet, and shares it through each one of us. So God restricted themselves from being able to just interact with the planet directly in most cases, and has chosen to work through each one of us, which makes us so much more valuable in the eyes of God and to each other, because now we're the God conduit. So we need to recognize just how incredibly wonderful each one of us are, how important we are to God and to each other. And so this woman is even using her transition process to bring forth more unconditional love. So now that she's in this place of complete non-resistance, I saw a video of her, and you can see the angelic presence surrounding her. It is just magnificent. And she's choosing to go very slowly and allow her physical vessel to be used as this channel for this while she is transitioning.
It's such an incredible thing, isn't it, for you to have the privilege of working with this woman and the other people that you do at such tender times for them and their families and loved ones. Wow, that must be very, I can only imagine, the only word I can think of is humbling.
It is just magnificent. This is the first time I've ever experienced someone who has chosen this role for themselves. And at first I was like, I just don't get it. I don't know what's holding her. We had already brought to her different beings energetically so that she could have some closure or pass the mantle, so to speak, with a new child that's coming in. And I just couldn't understand, wow, why is she taking this extended period to transition? I knew she wasn't in pain, and that video showed me just a massive angelic presence around her. And I realized, oh, she's just pouring forth love. She's just acting as a channel. As she kind of slips away, they are pouring forth, and it's bringing great blessings onto her part of the universe. And I guess onto all of us. I mean, we're all one, so she's helping all of us in that way. But this is something new, and I don't know whether more people will choose to be this sort of conduit as we move further into this energy. I'm certainly hoping they will. She is quite elderly, so quite wise also, and, has had a chance to really see quite a few things in her lifetime. And I'm just delighted that she's chosen to be of service to us in this way.
Now, we have a caller on the line, area code 90. We're going to come to you in a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Marcia, I would like to ask you if you could help us. I can hear the questions out there, but they know their loved one was in terrible, terrible pain. How can you say that they weren't? So that would be a great question to come back with. We're going to go to a quick break, everyone, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from the absolutely gorgeous Marcia Martin, the heart healer. And you can check out Marcia's website, Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Martin, thehearthealer.com, and contact her there and connect with her. And wow, I'm just so grateful to have you with us today, Marcia. We'll be right back, everyone. Are you aware that the angels love you, support you, treasure you, and see only the very best of you? Are you aware that you can call on these angels, these magnificent beings of love and tenderness, 24/7? AngelLight777.com is a place of gratitude that I have built for the messages and guidance that the angels give to me to share with you, along with information, support, ideas, the Archangel notes, Angel Heart Radio, and Angel Life. And you can book a private reading with me there. AngelLight777.com. Please come and visit, but more importantly, please remember to call upon your angels for everything you could ever want for, wish for, hope for, or even imagine, because you deserve it and you matter in the world. Welcome back, everyone. We have Marcia Martin, the heart healer, with us today, and we're talking about the information that Archangels Azrael, Gabriel, and Jesus brought through for her to help us to understand, accept, and process the death process itself. We've got Amy waiting, and Amy's mother is in the process of transitioning, so I'm so grateful you called in today, Amy. We'll bring you on in just a couple of minutes. Marcia, so how can we help someone, how can you help someone whose relative or loved one or friend may have appeared to be in great distress and great pain through their own illness and transition? What can you do to help people with that?
This is such a brilliant question, and I'm so glad you thought to ask that. It's extremely complicated, but we've got to really get our heads wrapped around this, or we are going to continue to suffer. First of all, we've got to remember that God is love, only love. So if it is not loving, it is not from God, and therefore it does not exist. So, this reality that we live in is not always real. It is a product of our imagination, and it can become whatever we allow it to become. So we have got to stop assigning to it things like suffering, pain, hurt, and go back to the truth that God is only love. We live in a contrasting reality for the purpose of learning and for growth. When we are in the energetic, we know only love, we know only joy, we know no challenge. So we come here with this extreme contrast, this place where it feels and looks and tastes, and darn it, I'm going to prove it to you, has pain. But it's not real. The physical body can be hurt. The physical body can decay. But the physical body is no more real than turning a light on and off in a dark room. It seems like it should be real. It seems like we can touch it. It seems like it should be our physical eyes can see it. seems as though we should believe that this thing is the only thing that exists. But it really doesn't exist in the mind of God. It is an illusion that we create so that we can experience challenge and contrast. And because it is not a real product, it can decay and become weak and then become useless and allow our spirit, which never decays, never can be destroyed, to be returned to its state of perfection.
It's the duality, isn't it? It's that.
Yes.
It's the illusion of duality. I mean, my desk looks absolutely solid and real to me, and
Right.
yet I know that there is more space than anything else.
And if we had that microscope on your desk right now, we would see all that space between the molecules.
Mm. And yet it seems
eyes,
so real. And I guess that's what our journey here on Earth is really comes down to, isn't it? The real and the what is real in terms of, okay, so what's real? What is real? So unconditional love is real. God's love is real. The angels' love is real. So Creator's love is real. Mother Mary's love is real. So those things are real. They exist in the universe. And what is the false reality is how we perceive our life to be. Because when we wake up from that dream, it's like any dream, it seems so real. You could swear it was really happening. But when you wake up from it, you realize it actually was an illusion and didn't actually have any substance after all, even though it seemed so real at the time.
And it does seem so real and so scary and so impactful. But if we didn't buy into the illusion, we wouldn't play all in. If I knew going in, I knew going in that this was just a dream, but if I knew after I got here, it doesn't matter what I do or think, or it's not real anyway, I can just snap my fingers and I'm out of here, I would not have experienced what I've experienced. I wouldn't have had the growth, because if it wasn't real, I wouldn't really be playing to win. I'd be, so what,
And we wouldn't be experiencing what we've chosen to come to experience and to
what
share.
Would be the point?
Yes.
Yeah. It would be like, you know what? I could just do it again next week. So why should I even bother? We need the scary of this is real for us to be fully participating. And even though I know what I know, it's this is very real to me.
And that's kind of the magnificence of it, isn't it? Because when we really starting for us, even though we're still going to go through pain and suffering, because, like me, I was clinging to the feeling of, missing my parents so dreadfully. And that's okay. And I love the way you say that is absolutely fine. Just accept it, love yourself.
It does
it's
hurt.
Fine.
In this
Because it really does
reality,
hurt.
Yeah, in this physical reality, darn it, it hurts. But nothing
And, at the end of the day, when I look back now, I said to someone once, I know I'm going to come to a place of gratitude for all of this. And they thought I was nuts, quite frankly. But I'm there now. I am in a place of gratitude for all of this, to have loved my parents so deeply, even though it felt so painful when they made their transition. And I'm just on that cusp, that edge of starting. And because my daughter said to me one day, Mum, isn't it going to be wonderful for you when you can think of Granny and Grandpa without the pain?
Oh,
just with the joy. And I'm on the cusp of that. And that is, Amy, I want to say to you, because I know your listeners are going to put you on air, to get to that is so wonderful. And And in a crazy, mixed up, roundabout kind of way, I wouldn't go back and wipe that pain and suffering out of my life, because it helped me to come to a greater clarity of what it's like to have the gratitude to be able to go through that, to love so deeply that I'm able to experience that and come out the other side and move forward with the joy, because that's pretty amazing. That's pretty incredible, I reckon.
Well, and I think we need to remember the depth of the pain sometimes shows us how deeply we loved. Would we have taken it for granted if we didn't have that pain? Hopefully not, but knowing myself, I would think I might just be ho-hum about it if I didn't have a contrast.
Maybe we would. Hey, I'm pretty ho-hum about my legs. I can walk. I saw a fellow the other day who had absolutely no legs. And I thought to myself, I really do take it for granted that I can walk.
Yeah.
Because I can just do it anytime I want.
And we can think and we can breathe and we can, so many things are going so beautifully every minute of the day. And that's why the negatives come up and like catch us unaware. We're like, oh, how did that happen? Because we're so used to things going well that it's a complete, oh, how dare you when it goes wrong. But would we be grateful if we didn't have those gotcha, here comes a nice challenge, wrong moments? I don't think I would have learned gratitude without getting just annihilated by some of the bad times.
Yep.
If it was too easy,
it's so true.
I don't think I'd be very grateful. Just, so what? I needed to get zonked on my head.
And you know what? Again, we've all chosen this. We just don't know that we've chosen it necessarily. So let's go to Amy, because Amy is in a very tender position right now. So let's get Amy on the line. Amy, thanks so much for calling in, and thank you for your patience. Would you like to share a little bit with us about what's happening for you personally?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your comments. And I truly believe in all that, you are professing to be true. The gratitude part was a nice reminder for me. But, the winds of change are definitely upon me with my mother. There's a lot of worry with her issues, and her suffering. Lack of support sometimes from other family members, and her discomfort, I know that they love her very much, but it's just a very trying, it's just very difficult to watch this all unfold in front of my eyes and still remember that this is a loving process,
Absolutely. So the first thing we want to do is wrap you in a blanket of pink and gold light, which is just unconditional love. So just accept this blanket of unconditional love and let us help you carry the hurt, because pain feels very, very real. And anybody who tells you that you're not hurting is a liar. Yes, there's a part of you that has chosen to experience pain, to experience the contrast so that you can understand what it is. Your mother has also chosen in this life to experience a certain amount of discomfort and pain or illness. Remember, we choose these journeys for the education of it. I think sometimes we get really excited when we're in the energetic state and we think we are super people and we overpile our plates, and it can get really tough. So pink and gold blankets of love. wrap them around you, accept them from everyone. Let us give you an energetic hug. Let us support you while you're in a place where you're kind of like, oh, what was I thinking when I chose this? We all have those moments, and it doesn't make them any less real. But do know that you did choose this before you came. So it's not an unloving God that's punishing you. No one gets punished. We get to experience the end product of our choices. If we make really bad choices, like I have done in my past, we get really bad consequences. However, illness is not necessarily the end product of a bad choice. Sometimes it is. Okay, own it, move on, clean up your diet, make better choices. Sometimes it's just, I want to experience what it's like to have this illness. I know that my soul, which is eternal, cannot be hurt or harmed in any way, that I am always safe and loved. So I think I'll have this experience. It sounds great in the energetic. We get here and we have to scratch our heads and say, what was I thinking? I must have really made a bad choice. It's okay. Forgive yourself for placing this difficult challenge in your lap. Hold on to us for the support to move you through it. And know your mother has free will, so you cannot impose your will on her. You can encourage her to accept a blanket of pink and gold light, to accept healing from Archangel Raphael, to at least make this time less painful for her. But you cannot impose your will on her. And you cannot impose your will on other family members. They may have chosen to understand what it feels like when you do not act in a respectful or loving manner toward others. They may be on that journey of exploration. We never know why another person makes the choice that they do, but we don't have to be responsible for their choices. We can love them through them, but if those choices are going to drag us down into the darkness, we need to look at it and say, okay, I need healthy boundaries. I can give X amount before you have pulled me into the darkness. Give until you realize, okay, any more and I'm in danger of going dark too. Then you have to call on Archangel Michael, cut the Akka cords, those gray cords of energy that are tying us to our negative attachments, our negative energetic exchanges, relationships, and just lovingly detach. Not with anger, resentment, jealousy, fear, none of that, not even necessary. Lovingly detach. I love you, sister, brother, whomever, family member. I can't say I understand your choice. I can't even support you in your choice. But I'm just going to stay in my loving high place of love, peace, and joy, my highest vibrational offering. And Mom, I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to shower you with love and be your support in the best way that I can. But I am no good to anyone if I let any of you drag me into the darkness. Then you're just two drowning men in the sea. And Jesus is so adamant about that. Every time I go to work with someone, he's in his rowboat saying, take the boat. Don't swim out to where they are. Take the boat or you will be two drowning men in the sea. So I want you to take the boat. Only offer as much as you can without physically or emotionally or spiritually depleting yourself. It's okay to step
let me just
back.
jump in here, please, Marcia. Amy, the assistance you were looking for, because I know what Marcia is sharing is absolutely wonderful, but I just want to check in with you and where you're at with it.
Well, yes, it definitely is. She's putting in more spiritual terms than I have been able to, think to myself about. And I have been detaching from family members because the energy just is not good. I do think that there was a time when I had to be there for my mother when nobody else was looking. And, understanding her needs, her deterioration that was happening right before my eyes, and they were looking away because, they had lives. Well, that's now done and past. She now has care that I don't have to deplete myself anymore, as she was talking about. There is, this healing time for me in my heart, and when it comes to letting go, letting go of, perhaps the misunderstandings, where I was coming from, where they were coming from, loving them from a distance, and hopefully finding forgiveness in my heart to give my mother what she needs and not impose my will on others anymore.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because
she has
in this,
care now.
In this dance that we're all doing, this construct that we are calling life, you're right, there are so many elements involved, and I absolutely love, Marcia, the way you said Jesus told you, take the boat, don't swim out, don't drown yourself, take the boat. So, Amy, what you're talking about is taking the boat here, and this is important. And are you finding that, I love the way Marcia was explaining those things to you in more spiritual terms. Did you find that you could really grip onto what she was saying the way she was saying it?
Absolutely. I mean,
you're good. Yeah,
I've been building
you're great
up,
at that, Marcia.
Oh, thank you.
I've been building, that up in my heart, and I think she was able to verbalize it better than I could.
Yeah, Marcia has a wonderful way of being in that really beautiful place. Now, Marcia's website is Marcia, Marcia. It's on our Facebook page, by the way, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com, and you will find on the home page, you can sign up for 28 days of Love. It's a free class. Maybe that's something you could do for yourself to help you where you're at right now, because you've obviously got a great connection with Marcia, and I'm excited about this because it doesn't just always come so smoothly, does it? It has for you today, and that's wonderful.
I'm sorry, 28 days of what?
Of love.
Of love.
That's now on YouTube, and what I am offering everyone is a complimentary consultation, an angel breakthrough session, so that we can help you find answers. And it just will give you a little insight about where you are and what your role might be, and then let you know, do you want someone to support you? Do you want to work with me to help you move through this situation? Because relationships are really messy. We get so entangled. And Amy, you're doing brilliantly to have come this far and to have made it through this very sticky, icky kind of thing without a lot of anger and resentment. So make sure that you are congratulating yourself for what you've been able to do instead of condemning yourself for what you were not able to do, because everyone has free will. And not everybody is going to see the glass half full. And it's got to be okay just to allow them to be where they are. So congratulations for a really brilliant navigation through some really, really tough stuff in the physical.
Well, I don't think I did it on my own, that is for sure. I had loving help from all my guides and angels, and probably my deceased loved ones. You know, I didn't come up with all of this on my own, because if I wanted it my way, I think I, would have taken different avenues, but I think I've been guided differently.
And the angels
Still,
are
the
always
choice
there
is yours,
helping us.
wasn't it? Still,
Yeah.
the choice was yours, Amy. You still chose to do that, and that is fantastic. So I think it's really important for you to recognise that, because, hey, when we recognise it in ourselves, it's not us being self-centred or it really comes down. And the angels have taught me so much about this. It comes back to being self-loving, self-caring, self-nurturing, self-appreciation. When we have this for ourselves, it is so much easier to have it for others. So appreciate yourself. You absolutely deserve to be appreciated.
Thank you.
And if you need help with that, please do take advantage of that 28 Days of Love. It's 28 different recordings on YouTube. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, on YouTube. In addition to that, I teach a class on practical spirituality every Wednesday. That's on the replays of that are on YouTube as well. But take advantage of the support that we give each other. We've got to be here for each other. If we can't be here for each other, why bother being here?
Well, I think I'm going to start, looking at that, Marcia. I also think I'm going to be meditating on Jesus and taking the boats.
Oh, good. Yes,
awesome.
Please.
Absolutely
none of us
wonderful.
can do it for ourselves.
And we're not designed to do it alone, are we? That's part of what this journey is about reaching out. And especially now, I put a post up on Facebook earlier today. It's so easy because we're texting and messaging, sending by messenger. It's very easy to actually spend a lot of time messaging but not connecting. So really important that we remember to connect. That is part of, to me, in my own personal opinion, that is part of why this is happening for us right now, to give us the opportunity to continually make those choices, to make sure we are connecting both inner connection and connection with the people and places and our animals, or what matters to us. What matters? Because if we don't invest time, then it's so easy to actually lose that connection because we've forgotten to boost it, to feed it, to love it. Yeah.
And, this, too, is something that I saw, and I thought to myself, put down that damn phone and quit texting and get with it. Get here, get present. And, I have no control over what they do, even though, I see it differently than they do. And there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to let go and turn the other way.
Absolutely, or you're in danger of entering the darkness with them. And then, again, 2 drowning men in the sea. So spend your time congratulating yourself on everything you have done. And just, hey, I love myself. I am amazing. Look what I've done. And if you're not able to do that for you, ask the angels to help you. They are our biggest support system. Sometimes they're my biggest cheerleaders. I'll be going through a bad phase or something, and I just have to say, okay, need to call in the big guns. I'm not doing a great job right now of supporting myself. Help, angels, and they're always there.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. And the other thing about that is that when we live this way for ourselves, we actually don't have to tell anybody about it. There's something that happens in us. Our light gets brighter and brighter and brighter. Our love flourishes, and people recognize that in us. And just by being in their company, we then actually start shedding some of that light into their world as well. Whether they pick it up and nurture it is up to them. However, it's how can we support each other, like Marcia was saying earlier. We've got to help each other here. That's why we're here. How important it is. It's not to say we have to accept behaviour that's abusive, or that's a whole other story. We're talking about being supportive to one another in a loving, nurturing way that doesn't cost. We're in the boat. We're not swimming out trying to rescue anyone. So we're in the boat with Jesus. You know, it's so wonderful to. I love that, Marcia. I love that you've shared that. I think I'm going to be talking about that for ages now.
That was when I first stepped out, fully into this ministry. That was one of his first images to me, and I was like, okay, I don't get it. I was hoping for a little better support than this. What are you doing in a rowboat? and I'm so nervous. I'm saying, what if I tell people the wrong thing? And here you are in a rowboat. What the heck? And then he starts laughing, and then he would pluck out his eye, and he would saw off his leg. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is going to be a disaster. What was I thinking? And he's laughing and laughing and laughing. I said, okay, game's up, joke's over. What are you doing? And he said to me, I never went up to anyone, especially, he would give me different examples. He said, you remember the man that was blind and how I healed the blind man? I said, yeah, of course I do. He said, did I go up to him and pluck out my eye and plunk it in his face and say, oh, goody, now we each have one eye? I said, never. I never went down to where they were. I brought them up to me, and in my fullness, they could be full as well. And then he said, what do you remember about the man that was lame? Did I saw off my leg and give him a leg so that we would each have one we could rely on? Never. I brought him up to me, and he accepted my fullness as his own, and he could walk as well. And then the woman with the cloak, she didn't rip off my cloak, or I didn't need to do some fancy thing. Her faith, her belief, her willingness to join me in the high place made her well. You have to ask people to join you in the high place where I am if you want to help them recover. And that's what we need to remember. We must join Jesus in the high place. He doesn't live in the darkness. We are there in a place that doesn't exist, that isn't real. And all he's asking us is to move into the place of truth, and you will have everything you desire, everything you are willing to allow. And that has been, oh my gosh, just life-altering for me. But also his humor, his ability to joke with me when I'm trying to be so serious. I'm like, let me hold on tight. I better do this right. And he's joking. And I'm thinking, this is not funny. I wanted your help. You're going to make me a cuckoo. You're not going to help this person. And then I'm going to feel, no, relax. It is really not that serious. We're making all this up.
So, ladies, I just want to ask one more thing. And I'm so very grateful to all your comments and inspiration that you've given me. In one of the meditations, I saw, follow your heart, but rule it with an iron fist. It was a message that I got. And so I think that, that was to say, help your mother, follow your heart, what she needs, and be tall and strong and, support her. And I think I have done that, and followed my heart and have turned the naysayers away, until everything broke down and she needed to be where she is right now. So I feel that, that was necessary. That was one of the messages or things that came up in a real message for me. But now, I think this is another message, to get in the boat and, let them come up to me. am in this transition period.
And it hurts. And it's okay to feel the pain. It is okay to cry. No one who really loves you should judge you or censor you or tell you to get over it. It hurts. You need to process it. It's okay. Feel the pain. Just know that even when she is no longer inhabiting the physical body, she is not lost to you.
Right. No, she is not. I understand that.
You will have to learn how to communicate differently without the physical senses, and that's a challenge, but you can do it.
Absolutely, you can.
In the meantime, you've got to give yourself whatever time you need to process what's happening.
Yeah, and I think I'm at that point because it's just real recent that I feel like I can let go and sleep and I feel depleted from the whole process, and I feel like I can let go totally because she's getting better care than I am right now.
Exactly. Yes.
So.
And the time's going to come too, Amy, where people may not understand what you're going through, and because this has happened to me, and so what I've chosen to come to with that is I got really angry about it to start with. So what I've chosen to do now is get in the boat and to understand that sometimes I just need to let that boat sail me away. And then maybe one day we'll come back together, maybe we won't. But on a soul level, we are never separate on a soul level. It just could be very different to how I thought it was going to be here in this earthly experience. And to let that be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was at that angry, I have had my angry stage, and I realized that that's not helping anybody, and I had to look at it differently, and, I went within for, quite a while and, tried working with my angels and guides and things like that to get me to a better place. And like I said, I didn't do this all on my own, because I felt like a lone wolf at times. So I give, the grace to God, Jesus, everybody else, but I was grateful that, I guess I'm grateful that I have come to the place I am tonight, and I found you all to help me process it a little bit better.
One thing that will help you is to remember you grew, and they may not have grown. You grew to understand the bigger picture. They may be locked in a room without windows. And when we can look at them and say, oh, I get it, you're acting this way because you don't understand or you don't know how to do anything differently, it can release some of the anger and resentment that builds up when you aren't able to kind of wrap your mind around that. So, with growth comes responsibility. You do end up being responsible for more people. And I have had clients say to me, I wish I had never woken up. What the heck was I thinking? I said, but wait a minute. Do you remember what it was like when you thought you were small and weak and you were locked in that dark room? Yes, you have more responsibility now, but aren't you grateful that you know so much more? So, sometimes it is a little overwhelming, but we got to just say, okay, I need angel help. I need support. I know better, which means I'm responsible sometimes for more. And then hand it off to the angels. Angels, you take over for a while. I'm not getting this. Don't be afraid to hand it off to them. That's something that I have really learned the hard way. Sometimes you just got to hand it off, especially to the relationship angel. Call on the relationship angel. Here you go. Take this bundle of completely broken relationships and tell me what to do with it. And it's okay just to say, I don't know.
They're powerful words.
And
sometimes that we can share with ourselves. I don't know. And it doesn't mean that we can't know. It just means that right this second, right this minute, right this day, I just don't know. And that's going to be okay. That's all right for today. It's all right.
And remember, we're in our own little forest. I always joke that, I can see your way clear so easily. You give me a few little words or let me connect to your energy and I can find you a path. If I've got one tree in my forest, I might bump up against it 15 million times before I realize, I need the angels to help me figure out how to walk around this tree. So give yourself a break. Call on them first.
I'm going to. I think I'm at that point where I need just to let it all go to the angels and, see what unfolds in a little while.
And Archangel Azrael is the one who is here to help with the grieving process and with the transitioning process. So make good use of Archangel Azrael.
Okay. I haven't worked with Archangel Azrael before.
You know what? Never worry about when I first started. I wanted to get their names perfectly. I wanted everything perfect. What you do is just say, whoever can help me with this mess, please come forward now. Let them decide who's the right one to answer. Instead of getting fixated on, I better get the name right, just, angels, whoever can help me with this, please come forward. And then, they are not going to trick you. They're not going to send the angel of abundance when you need the angel of transition. That's something we would do to each other. That they would never do that to us.
And it also frees us up to know that, I don't know that name. I'll go and look it up later. No. Frees us up to just be present in the moment, because you were just talking about being present, Amy. Frees us up to be present in the moment with the angels, with God's love. I always call angels, dear angels from God, dear beings from God. Who can help me with this? Please show me what to do, or fix it, or whatever. Sometimes I'm just, I don't know, just fix it, because I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do next. And it's such a relief to be able to be so completely honest and open, and to know that, there is absolutely no judgment on us. There is never any judgment on us, no matter how bad a day we're having, no matter how, whatever it is that we may have perceived that we've done. Maybe we've done some things that really are harsh. But at the end of the day, the God and the angels just love us. No matter where we are, no matter what we're at, they see our highest potential. They see who we truly are. They know us inside out. And the love they have for us actually never diminishes, but it continues to grow as it becomes more expansive, as God becomes more expansive, and the angels, the more we put into this beautiful well of light, it expands. It's not static. And it changes things, not just for us, but for the world as well. So the more we love ourselves and give to ourselves, actually the more we're giving to the world as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what a beautiful point that is. Yes, let's remember, we are the way that God's love gets onto the planet. So the more we call on the angels, the more we allow them to love us and then allow that love to overflow from us, the more we're helping every other person not have as difficult a time as we just had.
Right.
So hallelujah to those who are willing to go first. It always stinks. It's not. But thank you for all those who, said, okay, here I go into the fire. Angels, just help me through the other side, because they've made it easier for all of us.
Right. I understand that, and I guess that's where, like I said, I went through this angry stage. I was resentful, And then, I would, try and step out of that, and then see what my part is to play every day with everybody I come in contact with. And basically it's just to love and honor everybody. To me it is just to love and honor everybody where they are at now. But
Amy, don't forget to give yourself permission to have an angry moment, an angry day, a resentful day. It's okay. The minute you give yourself permission, this really beep, beep, beep is, I'm not happy about it, you can move through it more quickly. When we try to suppress, it's not really that bad. Yes, it is. It really hurts. I really hate it. I'm really not enjoying this.
Right.
It's really not fun.
Well,
honor that.
Yeah, and I, I used to work with a counselor, years ago, and I always thought I'm keeping her on speed dial for whenever I need her again. And I think this is one of these moments to work through that anger, because, or, just to sort out any of this. A year ago, I just decided to set boundaries with my family, and I just felt like, I'll probably, once my mother is gone, not associate with them so much. And the only thing that I feel is really connecting me is, my mom. And, excuse me, I just don't think that they ever validated my feelings, So I thought, enough of that garbage. I do have feelings, and they are worth, validating. And I learned that, through a counselor. And I had let go of my family, but I found out through this last experience that there's still remnants of that, and I hadn't fully let go of all the emotions, So, and yes, I'm going to just pick and choose the time I choose to interact with them and feel forceful, but this is not the time.
Absolutely not. And when you are through this period, when you feel clear again, do some of that, the deep heart work. Go in there and find the hurt and lovingly clear it. Don't let it rule your life. The heart rules the subconscious, so you've got to make a clear channel there.
Yes, I agree. For too many years, I let it rule me, and it damn near destroyed me.
And it will, because the heart is trying to protect you, and when it sees that you've been hurt, it creates a, oh no, we're not going there again message that it then delivers to the subconscious, and then we have this wonderful defense mechanism that comes up disguised as, I'm going to keep you safe, but what it really does is prevent you from addressing the issue and clearing it so that your heart can be your wise counselor instead of your scared brick wall. So when you're ready, you want to go in and do that deep heart work, but it has to be loving. Don't go in with a cannon. Go in with gentle, loving touch. Understand that your heart was loving you, not trying to deliberately deceive or hurt you. Yes, you can be deceived as an end product, but it was not on purpose. You're not at cross purposes. It was just a misunderstanding.
Wonderful. Amy, you've helped so many people by calling in today. I can't imagine how many people who are listening and who will be listening may be going through something similar or have been through it, or even thinking ahead to it's going to happen to them one day. And to hear that you're coming through with strength and graciousness, and honesty. It's been tough. It's been very tough. You've had some really hard times. Yet here you are, nevertheless.
Yes.
We
And
made it.
one more little thing about relatives. I always tell the people that I work with, close the door, but don't latch it.
Yeah.
Always allow the possibility that they too are going to awaken to their highest self. And so you just gently close the door so that they're not trampling all over you, and you stay in your high place, and you tell them energetically, anytime you're ready to join me in my high place, you are welcome. And then you don't have to have the guilt, oh, I shut the door on them. No, you just gently established a boundary, and you're waiting for them in your high place, which is to their greatest advantage as well as yours. Mm-hmm. Everyone is served when we meet in the place of love, joy, and peace.
Mhm. I love that.
So do I.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just want to get my brain back so I can think.
Yeah.
And you will. You can think. You just don't know you can think yet. You know, sometimes when all this is going on and our brains are so tired, it's not that we're not processing, it's that we're processing at a slower rate, or sometimes the processing is deeper. We just don't know that we're doing it. And that will come for you. You need rest. Yeah. You need plenty of water. You're releasing a lot of toxins in your body. You need plenty of water, good nourishing food, gentle exercise. Don't push yourself to do anything. And that will really help you, and I'm speaking from experience here.
Yeah, that's why I made the comment. I was hoping for some feedback on that, and that's just exactly what I need. And I just told a friend of mine, she was concerned for me today. I told her today I'm taking myself offline for 2 weeks, and I'm getting rest, and I'm going to, take care of myself.
Good. And you know what? This needs to be a part.
While is what I told her.
And this needs to be a part of your regular activity. Making sure you have time for you. And this is something I've had to learn to do too over the last year and a bit. And it has made all the difference in the world to me, and I'm going to continue doing it. So I've adopted 2 new phrases, and that is just let it all go and let the cream rise to the surface. And it always does. So just let it all go, Amy, and let the cream rise to the surface, and you'll find it's a richer experience for you. Because I was saying to Marcia the other day, instead of, running around with a little scoop, there's a drop of cream, I'll whack that to the surface. There's another drop of cream, I'm going to whack that to the surface too. Trying to make things happen where really cream will automatically find its way to the surface. I don't have to do anything about that. And when I let go, things happen in a much more generous, easy, natural way that they couldn't happen before, simply because I was so busy trying to fix it all or make it all, or feel like I had to do so many things in order to achieve whatever it is I wanted to achieve.
And thank you for that. I just wrote that down. I have a little board I write things on that I want to be mindful of, and I put that on it just now. And
excellent.
The other thing I keep coming back, that keeps coming up in my mind is, nothing's really being taken away. If it is, it's going to be replaced with equal to or better than I could ever come up with. So, I had to remind myself of that there's nothing really, not my relationship with my family or, the loss of my mother, but, anything I think I'm losing or feel as if I'm losing, it's going to be replaced with something equal to or better than I could ever.
That's right, darling. It really will, Amy. And because you have such an open and generous heart, you will recognize it, you see. As it comes in, you are going to recognize that. And that's what's so powerful about being willing to let go. I lost someone else very close to me. Well, they didn't die, but our relationship just couldn't survive. And that was probably the most painful part of all. And yet now that I'm kind of this little bit down the track, I realise, someone said to me, what if it was the best thing that could have happened? And I thought, oh my goodness, what if it was the best thing that could have happened? What if it's giving me opportunities to open in a way that I didn't know I wasn't open?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it any less painful, but it does sort of empower me to start letting go and stop blaming the other person because I perceive that they've done X, Y, Z, and just go, well, that's them living their life and that's their experience, and I don't know what's happening for them, and it really isn't my place to be judging them in the first place. Well, the answer is no, even though I desperately want to, if that's the honest truth. So getting... you know what I mean? It's like I just want to point that finger.
I would never do that.
So, you know what I mean? And it's just letting that go and sort of trying to get in that boat, now that I've got that phrase, because it does take me to another place where I'm much more able to say, well, this is happening, and obviously, it is so obvious that our souls are standing there completely wrapped up in love for each other, and so we can have this experience on this human plane because for some reason we need to have this experience. Mm-hmm. So instead of it being they're right, they're wrong, and I'm right, and vice versa, it's about, well, there you go. This is the way it is. I'm just going to let the cream rise to the surface and close the door but not lock it. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that, Marcia. That was a good one because I was really feeling like it's time to just slam that damn door shut now. And it's not. That's just anger talking. That's just my angry place. That's my inner child stamping her foot and going, no way. And of course, that's what children do. So it's up to me now to reparent that child, and up to me to let God to parent me, so I can parent that child in a much more loving way.
And Jesus is so good at helping with that. And, since I have just started to live my life from the place of, if it's happening, it has to be the best thing possible, I've been able to sort of step out and watch myself, and I am mortified at some of the things that I was participating in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe so it makes it just so much easier. I'm like, okay, this got to be the best thing that's happened. I step out, and I'm like, uh-oh, look what you're up to. And it's just...
And I'm going to say to you, Marcia, what if that was the best thing that could have happened? Because doesn't it then encourage us to say, well, God's not judging me, so maybe it's time I stop judging myself about it?
Oh, yes, I can laugh about it.
So it's really great for us, isn't it? And for everyone else listening, what a freedom is that?
I had the whip out before.
Sure, me too.
So hard.
Same.
And so, getting to take a step back, take a look, and just have a good laugh at the way I was behaving, best thing that could have happened. Not taking myself nearly so seriously, and able to make a mistake without the whole world caving in.
And how cool is it now, because you're working with so many people, you can relate to people because you have been there too, and you know that there is a way to not stay there. So therefore, you can help people. And again, everyone, that's Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. I'd really like you to encourage you. If you feel connected to what Marcia's saying, go pay her a visit. And, of course, you're on Facebook and YouTube. And oh, look, I just feel like this is a great segue. Shall we make an announcement?
Absolutely.
Or do you want to wait? So you want to make an announcement?
Happens will be the absolute best thing that can happen.
Okay,
because
I reckon that's a perfect segue. Yep.
Well, I have to tell you, though, just one more thing. People will say to me, but you don't know what I've done. And I start laughing, and I'm like, you know what? I have fallen in every
You know what? You don't know what I've done.
Canyon, right.
Yes.
So, lay it on me, and I'll tell you, I got one that'll top you. So let's just get over this already.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all cool at the end of the day. So,
Yeah.
we have so many opportunities in life, and one has recently come our way, everyone. And I am so excited to make this announcement before we go any further to let you know that Marcia is coming on board the Angel Heart Radio team. Ah! I'm so excited. Wish I had a band playing
I'm
tape
so
I could play.
So grateful to you because, every week I channel a blog that just practical spiritual advice. How in the heck are we supposed to navigate this world? Why does it feel like everything is going wrong? And they just very patiently explain why we are having these little kerfluffles, and they give us techniques and exercises, and they make it so easy. And I'm so grateful to have a place to share that. The easy button, the easy express, just making it easier for all of us. We complicate everything, and it really isn't necessary. But take it from someone who needs to get banged around about a bit before I remember. It's not supposed to be so hard. We need the angels for everything. And that's why I do what I do, which is, bring in this practical information that will help us and then work as your counselor to help people. I call myself an abuse recovery specialist. If you have been in a place of abuse, whether it is you abusing yourself or allowing others to abuse you, you do not have to face that healing process alone. I don't even know if it's possible to do it by yourself. Certainly, I had a tremendous amount of help, and now I want to offer it to all of you. Most of my help came from the library and a lot of wonderful online resources, but it took me 40 years of falling in every ditch. So I want to speed up your process. I want to make it easier for you to recover and to be the shining light of love and freedom that you came here to be. So if you feel connected to me, please take advantage of that free session, Angel Breakthrough, and let's look at what's going on for you and how I can help you move beyond it. You're not stuck, but you did call these things in for a reason. There is a good reason why you're going through what you're going through, and it will help you beneficial once you're on the other side. The work that I'm doing now, I couldn't do it effectively if I hadn't first annihilated myself with trouble. So don't do it my way.
But you found you had so much strength and support, universal support. That's such a cool thing to find out. I just was amazed when I found that out for myself because, I, like you, had been in some pretty dark places, and I thought, well, I'm obviously a pretty bad person. But then I found out that was just a dream. It wasn't even true. It was just something. I found out I wasn't a bad person or an angry person. I found out I was a very hurt person expressing in ways that were self-destructive and detrimental to my relationships. And once I started to get that, and the angels started showing me how they see me, wow. It was pretty hard to accept at first, but I kept going. And, it's just like they're joy lights. They light up with joy. They're made out of joy, and they will infuse everything with joy if we ask them to. And we'll experience it to the best of our ability at any given time, and that's enough.
And could we have compassion if we hadn't first gone through the darkness ourselves? I don't think so. I think I would have looked at people and said, oh, well, sorry you're going through it, but what do you want me to do? I don't know if I would have
so true.
said,
Or maybe we'd look at them and go, I would never do that. Well, the thing is, when you know that you can do it, and you know what I mean, suddenly things change and life becomes a very different experience when you start opening up to compassion like that for yourself. And that's why the angels really showed me the most important work I would ever do was to learn to just accept and love myself exactly the way I was, no matter what was going on. That would be the most important work I would ever do. And they were right. Who knew? Who knew God knew what he was doing?
Oh, I know.
It's so wonderful.
I love that we would have the audacity to say, I would never do that. Well,
you mean perfect me? Are you sure?
Yeah.
But you know what, guys? We are out of time. We are out of time. I booked 90 minutes thinking, we might go a little bit over. Here we are. It's almost 90 minutes later, and it's like no time has passed at all for me.
Well, you are such a light. Thank you for falling in all those deep, dark holes so that you could help the rest of us feel like we're not so lost and alone. Thank you.
Well, I want to say infinite love and gratitude to you both. You've helped me so much tonight, and I will tune in and listen to you as much as I can.
Just what you'll know. You will be drawn. You will be drawn when there's something on, and everything's in the archives anyway. You can listen any time. If you're on Facebook, come join us on Facebook because you'll get good updates and things that way. And we would love to have you with us, Amy. You have been an absolute blessing to this show. I mean, really, I'm looking at myself, Marcia, and you. You have been such a major part of this show, Amy, and I don't think you know that, so I want to acknowledge you for that as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, I am holding you in my heart, and as your mom decides, and it's her decision, how she wants to move forward, you are supported, you are safe and loved, and deepest honor and gratitude to you for going through this and teaching the rest of us so that we'll be better able to navigate it when we face that choice and those tough decisions.
Absolutely.
It is. I don't wish on anybody.
Yes, but remember...
we all have to go through it. We all have a mother.
Yes. And
we do.
What one learns, we all learn, and we need to remember that. So, wow, Amy, thank you for your incredible service to all of us.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you. And thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Annette, for sitting on the phone and listening to the show. We love you. And we will be making announcements on Facebook about when you can expect Marcia's by the end of February. But do stay in touch with us. And again, Marcia, Marcia, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. Please check her out. And hey, thank you to everybody for listening, tuning in, and making it such a great show, Marcia.
Oh, and Anaya, thank you for being such a bright, beautiful light. You light up my world, and I just don't know how I managed without you. So I must have heart connected with you a long time ago.
God bless you. Thank you, everyone. We love you, and remember, be kind to you. Be good to you. You are worth it. You are valuable and wonderful, and we need you here on planet Earth. That's why you're here. So take good care of you, and remember to give yourself a hug every day.
Blankets of pink and...
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.